We are coming to you live from $1 Million Studios. Your boys, Chris Speez,
a.k.a. the Pale Rider.
And the benchmark of professional wrestling, Mr. Silky Baines.
I got nothing for me.
It's that kind of night already. Speez and the Benchmark Show on a Thursday night, December 13, 2018. We thank you so much for being with us. Everybody here on Periscope and over on the YouTubes, or if you're listening to us after the fact on the podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, anywhere you can hear your favorite podcast, you can catch the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Hope you'll subscribe. Keep those subscriptions going, gang. Subscriptions are going up quite nicely.
That is good.
It's very good to see. So spread the good word if you wouldn't mind. If you're on Periscope, if you'll do that sharing thing, that'll help us out a lot. And, of course, if you want to pitch into the cause, you can keep those super hearts coming on Periscope, or you can hit us up at the tip jar, tinyurl.com/SB tip jar. Lots to go over tonight. We got two big events coming up this weekend. Tomorrow night, Ring of Honor's Final Battle 2018, and TLC coming up on Sunday night for the WWE. And our boy Anthony Suter from the Smark To Death podcast will be with us shortly to discuss both. So we are excited about that. So thank you to all of you sharing the program there. Thank you. Get the tables for the Super Hearts coming there already. That's fantastic. Still got my Santa hat going, Silky, because the toy drive is still going strong. We got one more day.
Yep.
And I hope some of you saw the picture on our Twitter account at Speez Benchmark if you haven't checked it out. Man, the donations were fantastic. I will say this. I don't have the final tally yet because obviously we still got tomorrow to go. But we will definitely hit our goal of 60 toys, which is outstanding.
And we're getting close to that 100.
Now, the question is whether or not we hit 100, and I have to do this ridiculous two-sweet
you're going to two-sweet
thing that Silky insists on.
You're going to do it.
It's ridiculous.
It's going to be great. It's going to make my night. I will two-sweet and walk off.
Hey,
drop.
As long as you're happy, Silky, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So, we're going to get to all of that stuff there shortly. Let me get the chat open here so we can make sure that we can see everybody that's joining us. And, Silky, you got big stuff going on this weekend as well.
I do. This Sunday, Tugboat Invitational at the Katie's Elks Lodge. It's going to be a long night for me, but I plan to take it all away and win it.
8-man tournament in honor of
night.
The late Tugboat Taylor, not the Shockmaster Tugboat Taylor that a lot of you are thinking about, but the Texas legend Tugboat Taylor that trained so many guys down here in this area. So
including me.
That's right. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. We are definitely looking forward to that. All right, before we bring on...
Kyle King says, too sweet while watching a Stephanie McMahon promo.
See, that's even worse. See, of course. Kyle would come in here tonight because he likes to stir it up sometimes.
I want my Bullet Club sounder. I want my too sweet sounder.
You're just throwing all this stuff out all of a sudden. It was just going to be, I have to too sweet you. And then I had to wear all the Bullet Club gear and have the promo going and have Bullet Club cheerleaders behind us and all that kind of shit going. Just changing it as we go along.
Oh, I'm adding to it.
As you are wont to do, like with your predictions, which we'll see shortly here when we get over to...
I'm great at predicting.
Yeah. When you can go Bobby Heenan and change it all at the last minute. Then, of course, you're fantastic.
Then you're never wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Good luck, Silky, says get the tables there. And shout out to you, Juanito, out there on the West Coast. The 619, his Chargers are in action tonight. So how great is our fan base? Not only do they send maximum toys, they send tons of toys for the toy drive. But Juanito is going to be watching his Chargers, I'm sure. Probably got him on in the background while he's watching our show.
That's probably true.
Our fans kick ass,
and Wally also went to SmackDown, was it? And he wore our...
Speez the Benchmark. That's right. That's right. And if you haven't gotten one yet, there it is. Yep. Warning. Heel turn imminent. At Speez Benchmark. Send us a message. $20.
Buy the shirts.
That's it,
Buy
man.
the shirts.
They're fantastic.
Buy the shirts.
And Juanito took a video of himself walking around at Raw wearing our shirt. So how cool is that? How many toys does that need to be? We have to get to 100 toys by tomorrow, Kyle King. See, he was going to go to the store and buy like 99 Matchbox cars or some shit like that. Just
anything
to get the
counts.
numbers up. So, but, it's tomorrow. But we got a bunch of stuff coming in. We had a big box of stuff come in today, a bunch of stuff coming in tomorrow. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll get over there next week, and we'll definitely going to take the toys in tomorrow and might even do some volunteering next week. So... watching them now, fucking Chiefs, says Juanito. Well, that's what most of the NFL is saying. So before we get over to Anthony, got to send a shout out to our boy Travis Wallach over at Prestige Properties. TravW777 at gmail.com. 4609. You guys know the deal by now. We talk about Travis every week. We talk about the Houston market every week, how the housing market kicks ass. Everything in real estate down here in Texas is thriving as it always is. And as we said, if you guys don't live in the area, you probably know somebody who does. So pass on the good word about the good folks over at Prestige Properties, especially Travis.
Yes.
Friend of the program, as is his father, Cooper.
Yeah.
The whole Wallach family is awesome, and we love them, and we love their support of the program here. So once again, Trav777 at Trav777 at gmail.com, 713-882-4609. That's Travis Wallach. Prestige Properties, proud sponsors of the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Where do I send the toys, you mark? You send them to the spot that's on the fucking tweet that I've been putting out all last 2 weeks.
Hold up. You can't talk to our fans
I
like
talk to
that.
Kyle King like
No,
that because
Kyle
he comes
King
on
is
the
the
program
man.
and
Kyle
gives
King
us all
is the
kinds
shit,
of shit.
and you
I say
can't talk-
gives us all kinds of shit. Gives me all kinds of shit because that seems to be the thing about this program.
All I'm saying is you need to put some respect on his name.
Of course. Of course. All right, then. Without any further ado, Silky, speaking of people that don't agree with me.
So people who are right.
People who are right.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're going to call them. Let us bring on our special guest for the evening, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
He is the host, along with his sidekick, Kyle, of the Smark To Death podcast. You can catch them over on Twitch, twitchtv.com/SmarkToDeath. And you can follow him on Twitter at Smark To Death as well. Anthony Suter from the Smark To Death podcast joins us here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Anthony, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty well, but I want to start by asking you, since we've got this kind of, thing going on, giving you some hell here. Are we going to talk about the revival, or are they not on the TLC show?
Okay,
They are
yeah.
not.
Well, yeah, because Anthony didn't know that. Of course not. He just wanted to start some shit early on. So we're very...
I think actually I just had a brilliant idea.
No, I'm sure it's brilliant.
Hit the goal. You're going to two-sweet me with the Bullet Club shirt on while the Bullet Club music's playing and then yell out, "Fuck the revival."
And I'm supposed to actually be chanting Lucha Lucha at the same time, says
Yeah.
Bobaruski. So, I got all kinds of shit
fuck
going
the
on.
revival. Yes, we're just adding on to it.
Yeah. Get this man a pinata. I would love
hey,
you guys to have a Lucha house party.
Really excited. Oh, look at this. We're going back to our advertising. Pow, 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 pow.
No, but seriously, guys, I'm so glad to join y'all tonight. I think you guys have the best live show that's on. I sincerely think that it looks great. Production's awesome. You guys are a lot of fun, and it makes it really hard on Mondays for me to decide between you guys and Mr. Warren Hayes. So I try to, I split my time between the two of y'all, like two dads.
Hey, that's quite all right because Warren Hayes is a hell of a guy, and
he's a good guy.
he's been on the show before,
Even
as
though
well,
he gives me shit, I actually did beat him, Warren.
which is welcome because Warren does.
And then
Everybody
the
else
whole-
gives me shit, as you can see from not only here on the program but in the comments as well. But so it happens. And DJ Kirby, another guy, fucked her. Come on, what is all this?
Yeah, Kyle King, you are a heel. I mean, he's trying to get toys in for the donation,
No, he's
and
not.
you're fucking yelling
He's
at
trying
him.
to get me worked up so that my
You
face
need to
will turn as
respect.
red as my Santa cap because that's what folks like to do on this program. But hey, Anthony, while we got you here, why don't you tell the folks what you like to do on your program, Smark To Death. Tell everybody where they can catch you guys and when they can catch you guys so they know where to check you out.
Yeah, so we go live on Wednesdays typically, and then we'll go live like every other podcast in the world after pay-per-view events. But you can catch us just on Twitch for the live show, twitch.tv/SmarkToDeath. Listen everywhere. I mean, and you just search Smark To Death and we're there. But what our show does is we try to cover as much news as possible. And so if you've ever watched Around the Horn or Pardon the Interruption, those kind of shows, that's from ESPN. That's typically what we do. So we'll do 3 rounds. We talk a lot of shit to each other and answer your questions, and it's a lot of fun. Very, very high on interaction, and that's kind of our whole thing. So this is my first time joining a fellow Texas podcast, so it's very near and dear to my heart today. I'm very excited about that.
That's right, and we were talking about our Texans before the program started
That's
and how
right.
they decided to make life difficult on themselves by not clinching the division this weekend.
Well, I mean, at least it was a normal loss. Did you see the fucking play Miami had?
Yeah, I did see
Like-
that. I'm kind of surprised that you, a Patriots fan, after the heartbreaking loss to the Dolphins on Sunday, show up wearing a Miami Marlins hat.
Well, I mean, it matches the shirt for number one.
Okay, it's ghetto protocol.
And
You
I
gotta have your shit
actually,
matching.
yeah, you got to match. And
That's
then, I mean, I can't, if I didn't, I'd walk around looking like you every day. And that's just no good. So, and
Well, says you.
Yeah, and a lot of other people with eyeballs.
No, that's not correct. And the slightest. So let's get straight to it here, Anthony, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's start with Ring of Honor coming up tomorrow night with the Final Battle pay-per-view. So main event's got the Ring of Honor World title on line. Jay Lethal taking on Cody. Here's a question I've been seeing from some folks. We have so many rumors going around about what's going to happen to Cody and the Bucks after the first of the year. Are they going to go and do their All Elite thing? Are they going to be involved with Ring of Honor at all? Does this, because I've seen this question come up, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and those of you in the chat room, feel free to chime in as well. Does this take some of the luster off of this match when you consider that it seems, based on everything that we're hearing, that Cody is going to be off doing something else? Does the outcome seem a little more likely that Jay Lethal is obviously going to retain the title because Cody's future is up in the air, or do you give Cody a legit shot of winning this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like if your opinion is that it does take some off of off of this match, it doesn't make any sense for them. Even if Cody's going to stick around Ring of Honor for a little while, I don't see why you would put this belt back on him. It doesn't really make any sense. And so for me, yeah, it's a really obvious decision to stay with Jay Lethal. That's who I have winning this match. I guess the excitement around it, though, is that this could be Cody's last ever match in Ring of Honor, and hopefully it's a damn good one. And I guess that's what I'm concentrating on, is like, this might be Cody's last Ring of Honor show. And to do it in the main event with Jay Lethal was awesome, and that's the appeal to me.
Yeah, when you consider that he got to Ring of Honor, showed up in 2016 Final Battle, and had the match against Jay Lethal, where he went full on heel and kicked him in the nuts and all that. Is Cody a heel in Ring of Honor, or what's the story?
Not right now. I wouldn't say.
No, he's a face. He's got to be a face.
That's what I thought
in Ring of Honor,
and that's why I was kind of surprised when I was watching some of the Ring of Honor previews where they were, they were going back to his whole heel turn thing at the very first Final Battle. So
it's just to set the stage that this could be personal for Jay Lethal to actually beat him. And I mean, I think they could be going for that whole CM Punk effect of like, Willie, because let's be real, when that happened, everyone thought John Cena was winning that match. It was very public that he was leaving, and then he didn't. He won the match and took the title.
Right.
I mean, they fucked it up after that, but just that one moment of him blowing the kiss to Vince McMahon was like epic. And I think Ring of Honor could be going for that with all these. Could Cody be leaving?
Right.
Like cashing in on that. They may already know he's not leaving, and so you get people thinking, oh, what does he do if he leaves? Does he take the title and go to All Elite? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it'll be interesting to see if, and Anthony, what's your take on this? We hear a lot about All Elite. Might as well talk about them while we're talking about Cody. Do you see them as being the type of promotion that shares talent among the other promotions, as we see with Ring of Honor and New Japan and some of these other promotions out there?
Well, I mean, WWE is signing everybody, right? So you got his talent share, because where else are they going to be?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no one to sign. Everyone that's worth a shit that's on the indies that could draw for this promotion is now being scooped up. So yeah, I mean, what did I don't know. I don't know who else is even out there to sign Marco Stunt.
Yeah. Well,
he just broke his leg, so he's not wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, the talent is getting scooped up, definitely. One other thing I wanted to bring up right from the get-go, they announced, Ring of Honor did a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, that this is going to be a 4-hour show. That's a pretty huge undertaking for them. I know people bitch about long pay-per-views with
actually short.
Is it short for Ring of
Honor?
Yeah, because I mean, especially back when they run the show that on WrestleMania weekend, that's like an 8-hour fucking show. Like, it's
Supercard of Honor was super long.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: do people? Because I'll be honest, I don't watch a whole hell of a lot of Ring of Honor. Do people bitch about the length of pay-per-views with Ring of Honor, as we hear sometimes with WWE, or does the fan base tend to just say, "Fuck it, we're getting good matches, so let's just roll with it"?
I think it's more of a "fuck it, we're getting good matches" thing. I mean, I complained about Supercard of Honor because it started, I think, right when NXT TakeOver went. You started, and then we still had Cody versus Kenny, and then we still had Dalton versus Marty Scurll. That was a fucking long show. But my goodness, it was long. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody really complains.
I think they don't really complain because it's that atmosphere. They know what they're getting into. Because Ring of Honor's been doing this for years. Like, when they do their big shows, it's a big thing, like a lot of matches. Like, this is surprisingly not that many. I mean, there's still 9 matches on the card.
Right.
So that is a lot from someone who does wrestling. Generally, you want to keep it to about 6, maybe 7 at the most. Unless you're doing, like, a tournament thing like we're doing this Sunday. Katie Russ.
There you
DZW.
go. That's right.
But unless you're doing something like that, you want to keep it 5 to 7 because then you can give those matches time to breathe and, you can get these long matches. But with Ring of Honor, they're like, fuck it. They do, like you said, Super Card of Honor had at least 3 or 4 30-plus minute matches.
Yeah, they just roll with it.
Yeah.
They just roll with it. That's crazy. Michael Berry Sr. says people don't mind because it doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it does. Like, let's not be crazy. Ring of Honor sometimes definitely sucks.
Yeah.
Supercard of Honor wasn't that great, but yeah, I mean, even State of the Art, what I went to in Dallas, was like a 4-hour card. The thing started at 6, and I think my wife and I walked out at like 10:30.
Yeah, we were at the San Antonio State of the Art.
Yeah, we were at the San Antonio show. Yeah, they do. They do. Now that I think about it, I guess they do go kind of long there. So a lot of people in the chat mentioning Flip Gordon. A lot of folks want to see him with that Ring of Honor strap around his waist before 2019 is out. He's got the I Quit match going against Bully Ray. And I got to be honest, when I looked at this match and I'm like, okay, Flip Gordon and Bully Ray's going to kick the shit out of this poor guy. I mean, obviously it's wrestling, so anything can happen. But what do you think of Flip Gordon? Is he another one of those guys that, we're going to talk about Hangman Page here shortly and Jeff Cobb, a couple other guys who have been on the rise throughout 2018. What do you think of Flip Gordon and his shot of, getting up into that top tier of Ring of Honor, competing for the Ring of Honor Championship in the upcoming year?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a vested interest in Flip because we did get to interview him back in the day. Just a little shameless plug
That's
there.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. So, I think Flip Gordon has everything that you need for Ring of Honor to be over. Whether that translates to, the big time in WWE or not, it's completely different. But people want him to win. I don't know if you guys remember at All In when he won the Battle Royale.
Which I called.
People popped like crazy, man.
Are you going to play your...
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, we got to play Silky's Negro Damas music because...
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I say. Negro Damas over here has to pat himself on the back every time he calls something correctly. So sorry to interrupt you, Anthony. Go right ahead, please.
You're good. But yeah, so, I mean, Flip gets the crowd drawn in. People are very interested in him. When I saw him live at State of the Art, he was wrestling with Marty and Jay Lethal, and people badly wanted him to win. So I think he picks up the win against Bully Ray, and the story's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and
I
that's
think so too.
Bully Ray's great, and
he's
Take
great.
the Bump said it in the chat here. He's such a great heel. He's fantastic. So, Adam Awesome says, I heard Flip Gordon literally got his head stapled in a recent match. Well, hopefully he'll quit doing that shit.
Yep.
And Bob Ruski, yeah, I'm with you, man. He's definitely risen up the ranks very quickly there. So
and pretty naturally too, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel forced with him. No. It doesn't feel like they're.
I think a lot of it came from being the Elite, because when I was watching Being Elite, that was like I kind of sad that they stopped running that bit, the whole Marty and Flip take Japan, because that shit was.
Oh,
hilarious.
that was Silky's thing. He absolutely loved
that shit. Had me rolling.
Yeah.
How he lost them.
Yeah, you lose a person in Japan. Well, and to be fair, I mean they booked that whole Flip is not all in thing in such a way to where, I mean, he couldn't help but get over with the fans at that point because everybody was pulling for him. So that's great. I mentioned a couple of guys that seem to come up in conversations about most improved wrestlers of 2018 and guys who have had just really big years. Hangman Page seems to be on just about anybody's list that I look at online. He's certainly done a fantastic job. I would argue that Jeff Cobb has had just about as good a year as anybody when you consider his win at PWG, the Battle of Los Angeles this year. And he comes in as the Ring of Honor TV title champ. Of those two guys, Anthony, I'm curious, who do you think has got the brighter future in Ring of Honor and just in pro wrestling in general? Are you going with Jeff Cobb or Hangman Page?
I'm going to go with Hangman Page as the brighter star. In my mind, we've talked about this on our show, Adam Page is the one guy in the Elite that I think 100%, if he took a WWE deal, I mean, I could see him as a main eventer. He looks like a main eventer for WWE. He's built like a main eventer for WWE, and he wrestles like one. Other than his finisher, which isn't really that dangerous.
It's more that it's just stupid.
It's just stupid. Yeah. What does it do?
Yeah, because I mean, it's clear. It's very hard to time that perfectly to where their head looks like it's hitting. So if you have one side of the crowd that sees it and it looks pretty devastating, and the other crowd sees that his head is like this far away from the mat, so it's just not. It's not the best thing. I think.
Well, how do you kick out with whiplash?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and
I would even accept the buckshot lariat as a finish.
Yes.
Because that's pretty impressive.
Well, and I'm with you as far as, you know, when you think about looks, guys who look like pro wrestlers, Hangman Page is the guy. What are your thoughts on Jeff Cobb? This is a guy that I saw, you know, when I got together with Silky and we were talking about doing a show, started following. Okay, sorry, yeah. This is what I get working with Silky, you know.
Well, I mean, you can't say. First of
got together with Silky for the podcast. It's
let's
understood.
make this clear. He didn't get shit together with me. Just put that out there.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's all the time with you, man. So anyway, when Silky and I got together to make a wrestling podcast, I started watching around more of the indies, and I caught Jeff Cobb and totally impressed by the guy. I mean, he's to me, he's the total package. I get what people say in terms of, you know, he might not have that look of a guy like Hangman Page, but obviously, Ring of Honor thought enough of him to put the TV title on him. What are you thinking about this match coming up tomorrow? You got Cobb or Hangman?
I'm going to pick different than I did on my own show. I'm going to go with Jeff Cobb because it's safer. So
he's going to hedge his bets today.
I like this guy.
I went Hangman on my own show, but I'm trying to get over somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I'm going Hangman.
But you got Hangman?
I got Hangman. I think I'm really impressed with him. As far as his work and seeing him live, it's even more impressive. Mm-hmm. Jeff Cobb, I like him. He's very athletic for his size. His only problem really, and why WWE really doesn't scoop him up, is his height.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I mean, he's big, but when you're that short, it comes off looking like pudgy more than ripped. You know what I mean? More than bulky. He's not, and I'm not saying he's fat or anything, but I'm just saying look-wise, he doesn't look as impressive as like if he was like 6'3", 6'4", with that same physique. He'd be very impressive build.
I'm with you.
And I just can't see him outside of our ROH and New Japan. Like, to me, I just don't see him fitting anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I really didn't see him fitting in New Japan. I didn't really care for the match he had with Goto. And
I don't care for any Goto matches, though, to be fair.
I like Goto.
He learned big muscles in Japanese. Well, that's good. He's got that going forward. Who's everybody got, Chiefs or Chargers? It's Chiefs, man.
Yeah,
it's got to be Chiefs, and that's it. So, all right, well, I'm sticking with Jeff Cobb as well. I like that guy. You know, I think he's good. And, you know, to be fair, Revisionist Book said, Samoa Joe didn't exactly have the physique. Samoa Joe's a little bit bigger guy.
But he's a little bit taller, and it's, height is perception.
Yeah.
I mean, I've wrestled guys that are literally, shorter than me, but they're bulky, so I played that they are the stronger of the two, because perception is reality in wrestling.
Yeah.
And even though... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Samoa Joe also has like some of the best heel character work that exists in wrestling right now, too. So it's easier for him to get over in WWE, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, his heel work in WWE has been fantastic. So we've also got one of our favorites here on the show, or I like him because, I thoroughly enjoyed his run in the New Japan Cup earlier this year. Speaking of guys who have had fantastic years, Zack Sabre Jr. making his Ring of Honor debut tomorrow against a guy that we've seen firsthand. Silky happens to know personally, Jonathan Gresham. What do you think of Zack Sabre Jr. coming over to Ring of Honor? Is this something that is going to be a regular thing? A little bit further for him to travel coming across the pond like that, but... a lot of U.S. fans got to see him in the Cruiserweight Classic a few years ago in WWE. How do you like Zack Sabre Jr. tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Zack Sabre Jr. winning this match. I think this is a sneaky, like, dark horse to be one of the, like, upper 10 matches of the year, just because I think these guys will work really well together. I wasn't big on Zack Sabre Jr. back in January. I'm huge on him now. And Silky, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Zack Sabre Jr. already has another match on Saturday night, right, for TV tapings?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So I mean, I would love to see Zack Sabre Jr. work more in the States for sure.
And cut one of my favorite promos this year. I was watching it with David, the one where he talks about guys getting up on the balcony and doing moonsaults on him and saying, you know, I'll just move. If someone climbs up and tries to flip on you, just move. What's wrong with these cretins? Referring to them as cretins instead of cretins. I think Silky liked the one where he said, fuck Mexico.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Which
And it was really because Taka Michinoku, who so like you could see in his eyes like you're not supposed to say that.
I'm pretty sure we're
like,
not supposed to say that.
He was clear. He pulled a Silky like, hey, this motherfucker ain't got shit to do with me. That's him saying it, not me.
Yep, exactly.
Like, oh no, say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that came off a little racist. I apologize.
Okay. Shout out to you, young Raph. Glad to have you with us, sir. Yeah, it looks like folks have got Zack Sabre Jr. winning.
Yeah,
this
I just
one.
don't see. I mean, Gresham is good and all, but I just don't see him knocking off Zack Sabre Jr. in his Ring of Honor pay-per-view debut.
Yeah, that's an awful British accent. I'm offended. Says that's not an awful British accent.
It was pretty.
Oh, I think he was
bad.
talking about your accent.
No, mine
You were
was
trying
Japanese.
to do the Japanese accent, but that's okay. We've also got I'm looking at it here. It is a 4-corner survival match for the Women of Honor World Championship. Sumi Sakai, your champ, taking on Madison Rayne, Karen Q, and Kelly Klein. We got to see Sumi Sakai hang out with her a little bit backstage over at the Ring of Honor show in San Antonio. Love her to pieces. She's about as nice a lady as you'll ever meet. I'm not sure how I feel about her as the champion, the torchbearer for that division. Silky's talked on it on our program here as well. You know, I don't want to speak for you, but I think it's been kind of so.
I mean, it's lackluster. I mean, one, is this like her first title defense? Because every time when I saw her in San Antonio, she was in like a tag match.
Yeah.
And then every time I see Ring of Honor results, it's her in a tag match. So I haven't really known her to defend this title.
I don't think she has defended. When I saw her in Dallas, she didn't even wrestle. It was Tenille Dashwood and Thunder Rosa. That was the women's match.
Well, I think in San Antonio, it was Sumi Sakai and Tenille Dashwood against Kelly Klein and Thunder Rosa.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't think I've seen her defend it. I've got Madison Rayne taking it because of that, though, because this title reign is not good.
I got Kelly Klein.
You like Kelly Klein in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw
Perks
Kelly
of
Klein
being
in that
married
tag
to the
match.
Booker.
Well, that certainly doesn't hurt being married to the Booker. We saw her in the tag match in San Antonio. Kelly Klein was all right. I'm with you. I think Madison Rayne takes it. It's unfortunate. Sumi Sakai's just been kind of, everybody seems to think it's kind of blah about everything, but
and they also got Karen Q. Let's not forget her.
Who I was seeing was a diver in college, was a gymnast in college, all kinds of shit. Like she's crazy athletic. So let's not count her out.
I was very impressed with her. She was the one in the Mae Young Classic, right? Yeah. It was her against that other Asian chick.
That other Asian chick, Mia Yim.
Not Mia Yim.
That
she's
other
Blasian,
Asian chick,
because she's part black.
She's Blasian.
That's her fucking
you
thing.
You just said Blasian.
That's what she calls herself, the Blasian baddie.
The Blasian baddie?
Because she is bad, because she's fine as fuck, and she's half black and half Asian. Blasian.
She's not called Blanasian like Tiger Woods.
No.
She's just Blasian.
She's just Blasian.
Okay.
Which would be a great, if you could get her, because she looks Asian, if you can get her a black chick to tag with, that'd be a great tag team. I was the one that coined with my brother. He tagged with a Hispanic dude, and they were called the Black-Tinos.
The Black-Tinos.
They are actually, look it up, people. They were NWA Southwest Texas Tag Team Champions. The Black-Tinos. I came up with that shit.
All right, then.
You're welcome, Wrestling World.
About your accent, Chris, you revival fangirl. Says DJ Kitten.
You make your jack off of yourself.
When you talk that kind of bullshit,
we spiraled down the rabbit hole with the other Asian chick. I cannot think of her name though, but they did the karate at the beginning. I think she was Chinese.
All right then. Well, we got to get to the phone lines here, Silky, because my boy David calling in on the program, and we always enjoy when David calls, and he wants to talk about Zack Sabre Jr. probably about that particular promo. What's going on, David? How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great. How about you?
We are doing fantastic. what is on your mind? You wanted to talk about Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, sir. Like you said, the fact that he calls them cretins is absolutely hilarious.
Cretins.
What do you think about? Have you seen Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle yet?
I'm thinking he's like one of those mixed guys who like does some acrobatics and some technical wrestling.
No, he does absolutely no acrobatics.
He's mostly a technical
100%
guy.
technical.
He's always stretching people into pretzels and things like that.
Yeah,
and it's,
which is pretty cool to watch. Now, that's I do enjoy watching him, is to see like what type of cool pins, and like that submission he put Kota Ibushi in was fucking brutal. A man should not be that close to his dick. And that's what happened. He stressed himself. He was doubled over, balls resting on his chin.
Okay, yeah, David.
It was horrible.
Yeah, we always appreciate you calling in the show here, David.
Oh, yeah,
and
my
getting
bad,
your
David.
education from Silky here. That's fantastic.
But it was bad.
Well, David, let me ask you this while we got you on the phone, buddy. We got TLC coming up this weekend as well. Anybody in particular you're looking forward to see at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs this weekend?
Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. I would agree with you. That's gonna be a good one for sure. Well, thank you for checking in on the phone line, sir. I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for calling in, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Have a good night, sir. Shout out to
right now looking up because it's gonna bother me.
Okay, Silky's got to look up what's going on in the Mae Young Classic. Anything else we need to talk about with regard to Ring of Honor? Anthony, I know we've got, I'm looking at the card here. We got Kenny King on there. You've got Dalton Castle. You've got, we talked about all the other, Chris, let's get to Christopher.
Xia Li. Sorry.
Okay. Let's get to Christopher Daniels and Marty Scurll. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I was watching one of the previews from Ring of Honor's YouTube page. And Christopher Daniels said something interesting. This is wrestling, so guys say these types of things. But he said, whether or not this is my last match for Ring of Honor or my last match in pro wrestling, I just hope people have enjoyed what they've seen and enjoyed watching me in the ring. I haven't heard anything in terms of Christopher Daniels, calling it quits here anytime soon. But the guy is 48 years old. He's been going at it for quite some time. Do you think we're reaching the end of the road on the Christopher Daniels train here?
I think it's time for him to hang it up.
Yeah.
I mean, he can still go, right? He can still wrestle fine. I don't think that any Christopher Daniel match is going to be a barn burner or anything that's going to be most watching and must watch in 2018. But there's those rumors that he could be potentially going over to WWE to be a trainer. I wouldn't be surprised if that is what happens. He hangs them up and goes over to the Performance Center and starts helping these guys out and makes a nice amount of money and stops taking bumps. I think it is time.
Agree with that, Silky? You think
I
it's
do
about time for
agree.
him
I
to hang it
mean,
up?
because he's not gonna. Not that he doesn't have the talent to make WWE, but they're not gonna sign him at 48 years old. Let's be real. And outside of the being a trainer, and what can he do in Ring of Honor that he hasn't already done? He's Ring of Honor World Champion. He's one time. I believe he's been champion in New Japan as well.
He's a lifer, man. I mean,
There's really nothing in his current set that he could do that he hasn't already done. So when you have that happen, you start to get a little stale. That's why, he has great matches. Hell, he had a passable match with fucking Stephen Amell, which that's saying something. It's
No
Stephen
doubt.
fucking Amell.
Yeah.
I didn't too much care, but the internet loved that match because
Yeah.
he made Stephen Amell look good.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that one. Totally agree with you on that one. Marty Scurll is a wrestling god, says Michael Berry Sr. And Bob Ruski says that Christopher Daniels' contract could be over soon.
SCU?
So
I think Christopher Daniels is working without a contract, actually. I thought him and Kazarian both were.
Could be. And speaking of Kazarian, before we move on from Ring of Honor, get over to some WWE. We also got the triple threat match for the tag team championships, where you got SoCal Uncensored, the Briscoes, and the Young Bucks. Same question when it came to Cody. Can you see the title going over to the Young Bucks, or is this just another swan song for these guys? And one more big match for them on their way out the door.
I think it's going back to the Briscoes, man. Because we don't know if SCU is staying. We don't know if the Bucks are going to work in ROH again. So it's different with this match, though, right? Because the Young Bucks, what's so exciting about them is the acrobatics and the bullshit that they do when there's ladders involved. And so regardless of it being obvious they're not going to win, we know this is going to be a great match because this is, two of their greatest rivals of all time that they're actually, in Ring of Honor that they're wrestling. So for me, this match is super exciting, even though we know that the Bucks aren't taking it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't see them.
I see SCU.
Think SCU retains?
Yeah, just because, one, I'm not a big fan of the Briscoes. They're great, talented wrestlers and whatnot. It's just I've just never been a fan of them as a team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. DJ says definitely a goodbye to Ring of Honor from the Bucks. And yeah, hey, what better way for them to go out than flying around on a bunch of ladders as they are known to do. So Ring of Honor coming up tomorrow night, final battle. And
still didn't mention 2 matches.
Well, we were talking about that. We were just kind of blazing past them while you were looking up.
So we blazed past Cody and...
No, we talked about Cody and Jay Lethal at the top of the show.
But no one... What I didn't pick.
Son of a bitch. Holy shit. Anthony, this is what I deal with on a day. See, now...
I'm going Jay Lethal.
I watch. I know, and this is why I watch, actually.
This is for this kind of shit. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Silky's got Jay Lethal. Can we move on now to the...
What about Don Castle and Matt Taven?
We mentioned that a minute ago, and we went on ahead and kept going because we want to get to some some other shit before we get Anthony out of here.
Now we can go.
Castle too.
Okay, good. And what about Kenny King? You got Kenny
I don't
King
even know who the fuck Eli Isom is, so I'm going Kenny King.
I was going to say.
He's a young boy.
Oh, okay.
He's like their new guy. Yeah, but it's Kenny King also. Yeah.
And Kenny King's a mark for himself, as Jim Cornette likes to say. So we go for guys who are marks for themselves. All right, what a better way to transition over to WWE talk than with our whose correspondent is she now? She was the Roman Reigns correspondent. Maybe Seth Rollins correspondent. I don't recall. Our friend Sasha Reigns on the phone line. Sasha, how are you?
I'm good.
Glad to hear your voice, as always. What's been going on with you? Now, you just had the opportunity to meet a few WWE superstars here recently. Tell the folks who you got to meet up close and personal.
Well, I didn't get to meet any of them.
Oh, shit. What happened? You were talking about it for weeks.
You fucked that up, Chris.
I know, right?
Plans changed.
Oh, well, shit. Well, okay, then. Well, never mind that. We're just going to rewind and pretend like that never happened. So... what's on your mind, Sasha? You looking forward to TLC this weekend?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to see Seth beating Dean.
All right, so you got Seth Rollins beating Dean Ambrose.
Yes, and also I have Asuka beating Becky and Charlotte.
See, that's a huge upset pick. That's a big upset pick. That's a ballsy pick from Sasha Reigns right there.
That really is. I don't remember what I said the first time, but I'm going. I guess, man, I've had a lot of concussions.
Clearly.
So I'm going Becky Lynch.
We'll get to that here shortly.
We'll get to that Becky Lynch.
Goodness gracious. Sasha, I'm sorry to hear your plans changed as far as meeting the WWE superstars. Any other big matches you're looking forward to this weekend at TLC?
Braun versus Baron Corbin.
Yeah, now the question is, and I'll ask you, do you think Braun Strowman is actually going to show up? I haven't heard definitively that he's in or out. They're certainly playing it as if he's not going to show up. Baron Corbin seems to think he's not going to show up. What do you think? Do you think we'll see him there?
I think that they're gonna swerve us by saying that he's not there, but he actually does show up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Seems to be the direction that they're going. All right, Miss Reigns. Well, we're going to continue with Anthony here. Thank you for dropping by the program. We always appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, have a good night. That is Sasha Reigns, everybody. Regular caller here on the program. We always appreciate her. Don't forget, you can get in as well. 832-937-4559 is the number.
832-93-SILGAY.
Maybe that's what we've been doing wrong. We've been pimping the phone number, and people are like, wait, they didn't mention the phone. Can I call? And then they'll actually call.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. All right, let's get over to TLC and this gargantuan 12-match card that we have coming up this weekend. Thank you, Dr. Huge. It's good to hear from you, sir, with the Super Hearts. We appreciate that. And so the match that everybody's talking about is the Women's SmackDown Live Championship match between Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch and Asuka. Sasha Reigns going out on a limb and picking Asuka there. And Asuka was left standing tall on SmackDown Live this past week after kicking the shit out of everybody with the kendo stick.
Now, this is one of those difficult things to pick just because old school wrestling dictates that Asuka was up on the go-home show, so she's not
there's
winning.
No way in hell she's winning.
But generally, that means the only other person wins. But who wins in this case, because there's two other people, I still call Becky Lynch.
Still call Becky Lynch. Anthony, Becky Lynch has been about as hot as anybody in pro wrestling, period. Can you see a scenario where they take the belt off of her? Some people are talking, maybe we have her lose the belt so that she can win the Rumble and get into the main event that way. How do you see it playing out on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm joining those people, man. I think that we got to get to Ronda versus Becky. This is the WrestleMania main event. I think we have to get in the situation they're in, and you can't get there with her having the belt. You got to get her over Raw somehow. So, and with her, like her character right now being like this badass is just calling people out all the time. Win the Rumble, call out Ronda, say she never got the match, and that's how you get there. I've got Asuka winning.
So you've got Asuka as well. See, I thought that was a ballsy pick from Sasha Reigns there, but Anthony agrees. You got Asuka as well.
Definitely is a ballsy pick, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. They've done a great job from taking her from fucking obscurity to we're actually having this conversation that she might actually win this match.
Right, right. Well, and that's good because when you consider where Asuka was just a couple months ago, holy shit, it was kind of disastrous. DJ Kirby says Asuka wins, Becky wins the Rumble and challenges Ronda, so we shall see. That seems to be the consensus. It's my go-to. I'm going to pick Charlotte because, again...
You just never know.
With WWE, they love them some Charlotte Flair, man. And I've been saying this ever since she won her first title, that she's going to be the one to break the record for most world title reigns, that she's going to end up getting to 17. And Lord only knows if she gets hurt along the way doing her shitty moonsaults. So you got to put as much of them on as you can, Chris, early on.
Can you do a moonsault?
So Charlotte Flair is...
Can you even do a moonsault?
I don't know. I've never tried to do a moonsault. You know why? Because it's a stupid fucking wrestling move to begin with. And number two, I'm probably not even going to land in the same vicinity as the person I'm trying to land on because I do it incorrectly, which is what Charlotte does, but she continues to do it anyway. So what is that all about? See, Michael Berry says, I agree, Speez. I don't know if he's agreeing with something else.
No, I don't think he's agreeing with that.
I bet he is.
Her moonsault is not bad. It's actually pretty. She goes over straight. I mean, sometimes she does overshoot, but hell, it's a move you go into blind. Sometimes you overshoot. It happens. But the amount of shit you give her for a moonsault, and I bet you like AJ Styles 450. You think that's a good move?
What does that have to do with Charlotte?
Because if you watch
excuse us for a second, Anthony, we're gonna have to settle this shit right now.
I'm having a great time.
All right, so the reason I brought that up is if you look at her moonsault, yes, she may overshoot a little bit, but it's always perfect and straight up and over. You look at AJ Styles' moonsault, sometimes he overshoots.
The Colombian judge is going to give her a 9.9 because her form was great. She didn't fucking land on the person she's supposed to land on.
AJ Styles does the same thing, overshoots, and he goes crooked. But you love that move. You just love hating fucking Charlotte.
You love that move. When have I ever mentioned AJ Styles 450 on this program? Never.
You know what?
Never.
You are such a horrible person.
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
Having to listen to your horse shit on this program. That's
can't even do a fucking moonsault. Don't come at the queen like that.
See, Michael
put some respect
Berry,
on her name.
I do agree on the moonsaults. It's overdone, makes it not special. And Paige Reigns, who's probably Sasha Reigns, and one of her many online things, says I agree, Speez as well. So bam!
Yeah, I agree with Speez. I think that moonsault's bad, but I also think
how you like them apples, Silky Baines? Somebody agreeing with me for a change.
Hey, I think the 450 is kind of shitty too, though.
Yeah, the 450
he over-rotates a lot.
Yeah, and he goes crooked. Like he never jumps straight and rolls. It's always like.
Everybody's talking about Io Shirai's moonsault.
Nah, that is a pretty moonsault,
which is pretty
best.
It was pretty badass. But anyway, now that we got that shit out of the way, so I've got Charlotte, Anthony's got Asuka, and Silky's got Becky. So one of us is going to be happy, and the other of us are going to look like douches. So let's talk about the
more
gimmick
than you normally do.
The gimmick match. Oh, it's Silky Baines, everybody, and he just unplugged the monitor over there. Well played, sir.
My bad. That's on me.
Let's get to this Seth and Dean Rollins. Seth and Dean Rollins. How about Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose match? Somebody in the chat room was mentioning how this build could have been a lot better than it was. I'm still very much looking forward to the match just because I enjoy watching both of those guys wrestle. But I'm not going to disagree with that take. I do think, considering how big a deal it was when Dean finally turned on Seth Rollins, I liken this to what we saw with The Miz and Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan came back and that match was on the table, it had all this hype, and then by the time we finally got around to the match,
I liked the match.
It feels like
though.
it had kind of died down. Well, I'm just talking about the hype leading to the match. It kind of died down a little bit. Do you get the same?
You can't make that comparison because you're talking about like a 2-year fucking gap from that epic talking smack thing where Miz went off on Daniel Bryan to when they actually got a point to get into the ring.
Just as
that's
far
a
as
big gap. So
Yeah.
that's going to lose some steam.
Just as far as, something that had a lot of hype and a lot of steam, as you said. And now that we're here, it kind of feels like maybe it wasn't, it wasn't executed in such a way that makes it a super huge deal. How are you feeling about that match, Anthony?
Man, I usually shit on Raw all the time from our Smart to Death handle, but I don't think this build. I don't get why people are that down on this build. I think it's been fine. I think that this is going to be a longer feud than just one big match at a TLC in a random December. I don't know. To me, the promo package the other night was really nice. And we don't need that much of a build. Some of the shit was bad, like the weird Dean Ambrose Bane and the fucking siren sucks.
You don't
That's
like the
awful.
siren?
I can't stand that.
Oh, see, I
siren.
kind of dig the siren. Now I could do without the Bane mask, but
Yeah, that was stupid because it came out of nowhere. Like, it made no sense for Dean to do that, to be like, he wasn't that type of heel to be like, oh, you guys think I need to be vaccinated. It was just, all of that was bad. I think what went wrong with this build, if there was anything that went wrong with this build, is that they pulled Seth away from it to do other stuff. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I can't focus on Dean. And so I'm going to do this. And then the whole thing of Raw was him, and you would have swore him and Corbin were going to go at it at the pay-per-view, the way that interaction. So I think that took a lot of steam. They should, if they were going to do that, they needed to have Dean involved somehow. Even if it's after he wins, Dean blindsides him and attacks him again, just to get that steam back and that heat back.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of our complaints about the Seth Rollins match with Nakamura. Seth even came out and said, I don't give a damn about Nakamura right now. I'm thinking about Dean Ambrose. So they didn't do him any favors there either.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit unfortunate. Paige says, Paige Reigns, that's Sasha Reigns. Seth all the way. DJ's got Dean winning the match.
I do too.
I've got Dean.
Sasha didn't like the build-up at all. Why is Dean Ambrose Bane from The Dark Knight Rises? Seth needs to get at Dean for what he said about Roman. That's one of the things that some people have had a problem with. I haven't had a huge problem with Dean. The one time he did mention,
he's never been disrespectful. Like, there's a difference between what Dean is doing with Roman and what fucking Ruby Riott did with Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yep.
That shit's fucking disgusting, in my opinion. Like, and I think that Natalya should have been like, there is no fucking way I'm gonna let you go on TV and do this. I was cool with the heat because I'm pretty sure those weren't his actual glasses of her breaking the glasses.
Right.
I was cool with that to get your heat fucking with her dead parent. But then all the stuff she's been saying since then, and then the table thing, it's just like, it was just, there's some lines you don't cross. I mean, and people don't realize that unless they've had a parent. You've had a parent. Both of my parents are deceased. So I would never play like that when it comes to my parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and going there once, like you said, that one moment could have been the one moment that builds this rivalry, and you can keep referring to that. To keep going to the well, it starts to feel cheap after a while. I'm with you on that.
So, I mean, but when you look at what Dean did, it's just like he was more dismissive because everyone would bring up Roman. He'd be like, it doesn't really matter, Basically, I mean, the only thing I'd say Dean probably said that could have not been said is because his whole thing is like, we did some foul shit as the Shield, and we're all going to have to answer for it, and basically implying that this leukemia thing is Roman answering for the foul shit he did while they were part of the Shield.
Right.
That was the only thing I'd say that was a little bit distasteful.
That's the one I was referring to as well.
Well, my perspective on that's a little different because when you're like, Roman's been main eventing Mania for so long. There's no fucking way that he didn't know Dean was going to cut a promo and hit one of those points. There's no way he didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
mind, Roman knew this was going to happen. He's like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but on the same token, there's no way Natty didn't know she was going to say all that shit, and
Right.
she said it was cool. Just because they're okay with doing it doesn't mean it's really accept. I mean, it's still to me a disgusting thing to do. It's right up there with fucking Randy Orton telling Rey Mysterio that Eddie's in hell.
Yeah, that would. And
Yeah,
we
I
don't
have
have to relive that one. That one was.
So
was
I
pretty
mean,
nasty
anytime
as well.
you're trying to use someone's death or a real life sickness in wrestling, it just comes off as poor and shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about this SmackDown Live Championship match between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles? I for one was totally blindsided by Styles dropping the title to Daniel Bryan right before Survivor Series. I don't know that a lot of people saw that one coming. What are you guys thinking about Daniel Bryan? Anthony, we'll start with you, buddy. What are you thinking about Daniel Bryan's heel work up to this point? It seems to be a hit with a lot of the fans based on what I'm seeing on the Twitters and such.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. Daniel Bryan, like, this is the closest to Bryan Danielson in ROH we're ever going to get. So for me, like, it's cool to see him, like, kind of ruthless to an extent. He's beaten down AJ. I'm a big fan of it. The only thing I have an issue with this match is, like, AJ's not picking this match up, picking up this win. So for me, as while this might be a really good match, it's just another match. It doesn't really do anything for me. But Daniel Bryan's on fire. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I saw the way they did it. I was not surprised. Let's just say that when Daniel Bryan won, I wouldn't have called it. I'm not going to say I called that Daniel Bryan was going to win, but you could kind of, if you look back in hindsight, see the heel turn coming out, because we've talked about it on the show where, Daniel Bryan came out there and made a point to basically get in AJ's face and was like, I want to punch you in the face. You say something again, I'm going to knock you out.
Yeah.
And then that triggered him, AJ acting like a petulant fucking child, like the I'm not touching you, and then saying his name. And so, but it was kind of shocking. It was still shocking to see when he did the low blow and hit him with the knee, which kind of I like that it brought it full circle, because remember, AJ Styles was a face a long time, and the first time he took the title off Dean was pretty much similar, where all of a sudden he went to the dick kick, and so he could win the match, and boom, now he's heel. So, and I think you needed that because, one, and I've said this also, face Daniel Bryan gets fucking demolished by Brock Lesnar. He needed to have that heel edge to even have a shot. I mean, he took everything Brock did, and then when he saw his opportunity, he went for it, and he was, relentless until he ended up losing. But face Daniel Bryan would have just been suplex John Cena, essentially, from SummerSlam.
Agreed.
So I like the idea. Now, obviously, he's not going to win. AJ's not going to win. But I don't think that should take away from the match, because how many times have you seen, this is standard fare in wrestling. He took the title off AJ. Now AJ's getting a rematch. Generally, every now and then they do it, but generally they're not going to put the title right back on AJ. So, AJ's not going to win. So I don't think that should take away from the enjoyment.
You can still enjoy the match for sure.
Yeah. Just for me personally, it does that. I disagree, though. I think that Daniel Bryan's win was telegraphed on that episode of SmackDown.
Yeah.
For sure. So, like,
that's what I meant.
The moment happened, that was cool, but...
Daniel Bryan poops in his yard, says Take the Bum Podcast.
DB is a vegan with a leather strap.
But slap Mustafa for driving an SUV. That's a good one, too. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we've also got, and we'll start moving through these a little quicker, try to keep as close to our hour time limit as we can. Again, thank you all for joining us. If you haven't shared the program yet, do that and get some folks in here for our discussion on TLC. Ronda Rousey got her match against Nia Jax coming up. Second time we've seen these two go at it. We saw them at Money in the Bank, which was actually a far more entertaining match than...
No.
It's a far more entertaining match than a lot of us thought.
I mean, it was, but I don't like the build. I don't like how they're using Nia. I really don't care about this match.
What about you, Anthony? You're not feeling. What's your overall take on Ronda Rousey? How you feeling about Rousey in WWE?
I was pretty high on her, and now I honestly couldn't give a shit less about the Raw Women's division as a whole. There's just no one's interesting in that division. Ruby Riott, but they book her like crap, so it doesn't really matter.
They book her like they booked the Revival.
Which
I think they booked the Revival perfect.
Yeah.
they do. Shut the fucking hell. You know the show's winding down because we're getting into all that kind of shit. I can't.
I don't care about this match. Ronda will win, but who cares?
And I'm not going to play my my Gringo Damas music and talk about the fact that putting the strap on Ronda was a bad idea, and
I mean,
that she is not.
Depends on
been
what standpoint you're
particularly
looking
great.
from.
It's
If you're looking from the company standpoint, it was a great fucking idea.
I'm talking about from a fan standpoint, like
But
we're talking about now.
But I mean, and her reign hasn't been bad.
It's been bad, Silky.
No,
it
I
has
mean,
been bad.
Her Raw
the
shit,
Bella
but her
match was
pay-per-view
good.
shit has been pretty good because
Yeah.
of course they're making sure she's in there working with the person. They're making sure it's a good match. So with the exception of the Alexa Bliss where she won the title in like 4 minutes, but then the rematch was good.
Yeah.
So she's had numerous good matches as the champion. Some of her Raw shit, like these tag team matches, they need to stop. They need to
she
just
looked
stop.
bad in those, but she looked fucking awesome against Charlotte.
Yeah, she
She
did.
looked great against Charlotte, and she sold the hell out of that beating. I thought Ronda looked amazing again.
Oh yeah, and I thought that was a funny thing that I noticed on Tuesday. Speaking of taking the beating, Charlotte was clearly not about that getting hit with the kendo stick.
she was not
life.
about that life because
And fucking
I've
Asuka
been
was like,
hit-
fuck it, I'm going to kill you anyway. Like, Charlotte kicked her legs up at one point, like she was trying to block it with her legs, and Asuka hit her in the fucking hamstrings with
Yeah,
it. Like,
in the
she's
shin-
like, you're going to take this beating, bitch, whether you like it or not.
yeah, like that's. I mean, I've been hit with the kendo stick. It fucking sucks so bad.
I can't even imagine, dude. It would
Oh,
suck.
it's so bad. When I did the casket match, I got hit with the kendo stick like twice, and then I took it from him and I hit him and I threw that bitch in the crowd.
Yeah, like we
fuck
don't want
this.
any more of that.
Unfortunately, he got it back and hit me some more. So
Take the
it didn't
Bump
work
says
for
at
me.
least Ronda's on TV regularly, unlike Brock Lesnar,
Revival.
which DJ says.
Oh, shit.
How long have you had Ronda on that roster without winning the title? Or how long could you have had Ronda on that roster without winning the title? Not long. That's fair, I guess.
could've.
You had to put it on her sooner or later.
exactly as long as she was there before she won it is how long you could do it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go through some of these other matches. We'll get some picks in here real quick. Fabulous Truth against Mahalisha, where the winners will be the last entrants into their Royal Rumble matches, their respective Royal Rumble matches. What do you think about that that little stipulation that they've thrown into the Mixed Match Challenge, Anthony? I love stipulations like this. I just question putting it in an event like the Mixed Match Challenge.
I mean, I think it was. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah. You ready for this? I don't know how you guys are going to react to my bold prediction here.
Here it comes.
I've got the fabulous Truth winning. And at the Royal Rumble, our Truth will do that stupid shit he does, and he'll show up number 30 in the Women's Royal Rumble and say, "Oh, my bad." That's what we're going to get.
that would be
We're going to get a
hilarious.
comedy spot out of this.
That
would be fucking amazing.
I would laugh my ass off. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Fantastic.
That
That's
would
'cause I want it.
I could totally see that happening. Yeah, I think let's get our picks out of the way just so we can say that we did it. You got R-Truth and Carmella winning this one. I got R-Truth and Carmella winning this one.
I got Mahalisha.
Okay, then. Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin. Does Braun Strowman actually show, Anthony? Do you think he shows up, or do we get a replacement in this one?
I don't think he's showing up. I don't think we even get a replacement. I think we just get Corbin is still in charge
That
of
would
Raw
be
for a
a
while.
fucking terrible payoff to this.
It would be a
I mean,
letdown.
if they don't, if he can't, like he legitimately can't, they need to have somebody fill in that spot. And you can still put Baron Corbin over, but you have someone fill in a spot to promise this match and then just be like, nope, not happening. I think that's just a shitty way. And
They
but
do
it
that
also
sometimes when they have
could get Baron
Enormous
Corbin.
cards like this, you know.
It also could get Baron Corbin a shitload of heat because he'll act like he won. You know, he won it on his own merit and he was the best when it was just given to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bad payoff, but I think it's a great opportunity for really, really good heat for Baron Corbin. Not that he doesn't have enough already, really. He doesn't really need much more, but why not? He's hot as a heel.
Yeah, they love them some heat on Monday Night Raw. Braun shows and wins, says DJ. Bob Aruski says Lars or Bray might show up. I saw an article earlier today asking if one of those guys might show up. Put Rhino in the spot, says DJ. That would be that would be exciting as well. And another pick for Bray Wyatt. So we shall see.
I'm going Strowman does show up, and I still say that Corbin wins, but it's going to be through some shenanigans.
Yeah, I got Corbin winning this one as well. I think he's got to come out on top of this one. Finn Balor against Drew McIntyre.
This is my dark horse for probably match of the night.
Now,
if,
we could,
if done right.
if Finn shows, because we have been hearing that Balor was ill on the overseas live tour, and so he's another one whose appearance is in jeopardy. What do you think on this one, Anthony? We're going to get a match of the night candidate from Finn and Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, I'm with Silky. I agree with Silky quite a bit. I like this.
Yeah.
I can't see them not letting Finn have a really good showing and probably lose.
Yeah, probably. He definitely loses. Not probably. He 100% loses this match.
Well,
I think
I have him winning with a Dolph interference.
No, I have him losing. I have him coming back as the Demon.
Oh, motherfucker.
And then I have McIntyre winning because they're strapping the rocket to McIntyre's back. So what can you do when no one gives a shit about Finn Balor, but they know they make a point to tell you every time that Finn Balor never loses when he's the fucking Demon. So to have Drew McIntyre be the first one to knock off the Demon Finn Balor would be...
Well, that would be great for Drew McIntyre, but they better not fucking do that.
I mean, think about it. Why wouldn't he? You brought out the Demon for fucking Baron Corbin, and this is before all this heat, general manager Baron Corbin, when he was just a regular motherfucker.
Yeah.
And you brought out the Demon for that, but you won't bring out the Demon for the Scottish Psychopath, the guy that's laid out Braun Strowman.
No, I hear
stood
what
in
you're saying.
Brock Lesnar's face, unscared. Like, if there's anybody on the Raw roster for Finn Balor to bring out the Demon for, it's Drew fucking McIntyre.
Yeah, but he doesn't get the
cannot fucking kill the Demon at TLC.
That's my point. Yeah, the reason you could say that he came back as the Demon against Baron Corbin of all people was SummerSlam. It was a big show.
But it was Baron fucking Corbin. It wasn't even that much heat for him.
It's still
come out.
SummerSlam. It's a big show. So we got a ladder match between Elias and Bobby Lashley. You know, as much as Lio Rush annoys the shit out of me, I got to say that Lashley has become infinitely more interesting since teaming up with Lio Rush. I don't know if that's saying a lot because, Lashley wasn't exactly, a guy that people were chomping at the bit to see. But what do you think about Lashley and Elias coming up this weekend?
I think this match is going to be sneaky good. Like, not like great, but you're going to think it's a piss break match, and then it might actually not be that bad. I think Elias wins. I don't know how.
You would think it's 100% piss break.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've seen this so many times. So you're not giving me something new besides the stupid ladder and grab the guitar. But the way this is built, can't be a big match. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think Elias gets the win. And I think that it'll be all right. Like you say, it'll be passable. But I don't really give a shit about this match.
Tend to agree with DJ. He says Elias wins and wallops Leo with the guitar. So could definitely see that playing out. All right, since we are running short on time, we'll just breeze through these last few kind of quickly. The triple threat match between seemingly the only 3 tag teams that are on SmackDown Live. The Bar versus the New Day versus the Usos. For the tag team titles, who you got in this one, Anthony?
This is the hardest match on the card to predict, and will probably be the best one. But I guess the Bar retains. That's what I'm going to go with.
The Bar retains. I'm going to take the Bar retaining as well. Silky, your pick?
I'm going with the Bar too.
All right, Natalya versus Ruby Riott in a tables match.
Ruby.
You got Ruby Riott. You got Ruby Riott. I'm going to go with Natalya. I'm going to go with Natalya on the upset win because I think a lot of people got Ruby winning this one. Be a nice moment for Natalya to win one for her daddy. Buddy Murphy in a rematch against Cedric Alexander should be entertaining if the last one was any indication. Who you got, Anthony? Buddy Murphy or Cedric Alexander?
Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy.
I got Buddy Murphy as well. And last but certainly not least, a chairs match. Always awkward to just have chairs in the match, but a chairs match between Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. Will you just shut up? That was supposed to be go.
Shut up!
See, that's what we get when we don't have the actual machine. We got the iPad there. Anyway, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio. Who you got, Anthony?
Randy Orton.
Rey Mysterio.
I'm gonna go with Randy Orton as well. All right, gentlemen. Plenty of wrestling for those of us wrestling fans coming up this weekend. And we are very grateful to you, Anthony, for joining us and chatting about it all. So one more time before we get out of here this evening, let all the folks watching and listening to the podcast know where they can find you and Kyle for the Smark To Death podcast.
Yeah, so if you guys want to interact with us, if you like what Speez and the Benchmark here do and you like the interaction on your live shows, go to twitch.tv/SmarkToDeath. An account's free, so there's no paywall there. Just come hang out. I will be live tomorrow with Kyle, and one of our patrons is joining us for the final battle review. I'll be with Mr. Warren Hayes on Twitch, just me and him, on Sunday for TLC, and then again on Monday for the Diva Dirt Year-End Awards. All of that on twitch.tv/SmarkToDeath. Audio replays, if that's your thing, everywhere. iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, our Facebook group, Facebook page. You name it, we're there. So
awesome. Well, thank you.
Big thanks to you guys.
Hey, you got it, man. We appreciate you being with us, and best of luck with the podcast. It's one that we enjoy as well. So congrats to you guys, and keep up the good work, man. We'll do it again very soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. That is Anthony Suter, Smark To Death podcast, twitch.tv/SmarkToDeath. Silky, anything else for the people before we get out of here this evening?
I think I've already mentioned it a couple times, but I'll take another time. I'll be at the Elks Lodge in Katy, Texas for DZW Presents the Tugboat Taylor Invitational Tournament. And that's this Sunday starting at 4 p.m. Doors open at 3. You can come see me punch guys several times around the facial region.
Excellent. Thank you all for the Super Hearts, for checking in, for sharing the program, all that. If you are still with us here at the end of the show and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do that on Periscope or over on the YouTubes, tinyurl.com/Speez Benchmark. So, for the Benchmark, Silky Baines.
Yo.
And Anthony Suter of the Smark To Death podcast. Chris Bezak here. We will see you Monday night, following Monday Night Raw, right here on the Speez and the Benchmark show. Good night, everybody.